Hey cats, it's EDDBUD here. Today a three-way Hoka One battle between the ROCKETX, the Mach 4 and the Rincon 3. Welcome back to the channel guys. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. It also helps if you give this video a thumbs up like. Thanks. Today a Hoka One battle between three of their lightweight running options. One with a plate, one with a ridiculous heel flare, and one that doesn't really have any gimmicks at all. Which is the shoe for you? Let's get to it. Just to let you know, all three shoes today have been purchased by myself. I think I picked them up for pretty much retail price. Rincon 3 came in about 105 Earth credits, the Mach 4 at 125, and the Space Age ROCKETX at 139 Earth credits. These are lighter weight options, so a quick check on the weight of each shoe. Right down at 229 grams. The Rincon 3, I did pick this one up in a UK size 11, so slightly better fit. I think that's 8.1 ounces. The ROCKETX comes in at 245 grams or 8.8 ounces for this UK size 11.5. And the Mach 4, the heaviest of the lot, at 264 grams, which is about 9.3 ounces. Again in a UK size 11.5. Let's get to the comparison. Upper-wise, all three of these shoes have their own traits, although they do share some similarities. The tongues in the ROCKETX and the Mach 4 are slightly gusseted. You don't get that in the Rincon 3. I haven't experienced any tongue slippage or sliding in the Rincon 3 as of yet. I do find that I need a touch more room in some Hoka models, and that's why I've gone to an 11.5 in some of these. The original Rincon felt really constrictive and a little bit too snug for my liking. The Rincon 3 in the same size isn't like that at all. A really nice even fit in that shoe. Maybe it even feels a little bit longer, I'm not sure. There's certainly something different about the last use in the Rincon 3 over the initial one. To get a good lockdown in the ROCKETX, I had to cinch the laces quite tight. It's almost like there's just too much upper material on the sides of the shoe. Maybe again it's a issue with the last that is used when actually creating the shoe. Don't seem to have that problem if I drop down a half size. There's a massive difference. There really is, guys. I have to say, material-wise, the ROCKETX feels the best for me on foot. It's quite flexible. You've got this sort of mesh grid underneath the actual upper material itself, and that really provides some structure, but it's really flexible. The other two feel a bit more like daily trainers, I suppose. Just doesn't really feel like there's any gimmicks here in the upper on the ROCKETX. I do quite like that. Certainly the Mach 4 is the thickest of the bunch. Not a million miles away, I suppose, from the Pegasus 38 upper, really. There's a lot of padding here in the heel. Certainly the exaggerated flare here in the heel is something that I can live without. I did have to put some other laces into the Mach 4 to actually get a reasonable lockdown over the top of my foot. The ones it comes with are just really springy and overly stretchy, I suppose. I stuck some in that have almost no stretch at all in them, and it works much better. The Rincon 3 upper is good enough, it does the trick. There's no real big fanfare for this one, it just kind of does what it says on the tin, and it does a reasonable job. Aside from serious cinching, I think I'll probably give the 3 points to the upper on the ROCKETX, 2 for the workhorse-like Rincon 3, and 1 point for upper on the Mach 4. There's just sort of too much there. I'm not sure what this shoe is. It's trying to be a lot of things. Midsole wise, again, it's horses for courses. Though the ROCKETX has the right amount of squash, stability I suppose, and also rigidity for a variety of different paces and training sessions. This is probably the only shoe out of the three that I'd want to go over a serious distance in as well. I think the EVA blend in the Rincon 3 is fun, probably up to about 7 miles. I'm not sure that this one will cut the mustard though if you're going to take it on a longer run. Just seems better suited for daily work really. Maybe if you wanted to throw in some speedier miles. The Mach 4 oddly has quite a significant increase in terms of underfoot surface area, certainly than the Rincon, both in the forefoot and the heel, though I just found it really uninspiring I suppose on the long run. Okay at speed, but I felt I had to put a lot in to get not an awful lot out. The ROCKETX absolutely has the most narrow underfoot bed, especially in the arch, though oddly I found the ROCKETX very similar to running as the Vaporfly 4% Flyknit that I ran in today. It's just vastly more nimble than the Mach 4, this one, and I'd suggest you could use it as a training or race option too. Easily a half marathon shoe, this one. and at a great price as well when you consider it. The 35mm heel stack in the ROCKETX reminds me a little bit of the Zoom Fly series as well. The Rincon 3 midsole does provide a nice forgiving ride, but I think the EVA just begins to feel like it's bottoming out after a little while, probably before the Mach 4 ProFly material does. That aside, I do find the Mach 4 a slightly tougher ride than the Rincon 3, and overall just a less forgiving shoe. So I think if you're after daily miles, gotta be the Rincon 3. Again, I'm not really sure what this shoe is trying to be. It's certainly lightweight enough, but the combination of midsole materials here just doesn't really seem to inspire all that much. Certainly when you put it into a comparison with the ROCKETX and the Rincon 3. So it's very much down to your requirements, guys, as to which one you should pick up based on midsole. Daily cushion, go for the Rincon 3. If you're after a carbon plate midsole shoe, but you don't want all the bells and whistles, and you don't want one that's as niche as some of the other offerings, then the ROCKETX could be a good bet. I mean, it's much more forgiving than the Carbon X or the Zoom Fly 3, and it's a way better shoe than the Hyperion Elite 2 as well. I mean, this shoe just makes that feel like a load of packing foam under your foot. The Mach 4 is kind of the odd one out, really, where you've got the highest weight, but also the most unforgiving ride. But I'd suggest it's hard to pick a distinct winner here. Though if I have to have just one of these three pairs, it would have to be the ROCKETX. I think it ticks the most boxes in terms of training and racing. 3 points to the ROCKETX, 2 points on midsole to the Rincon 3, and measly pickings for the Mach 4. Outsole now. Outsole wise, the Rincon 3's a real gripper. Gives a good traction account of itself. You get great cheese on that. The firmer EVA layer on the Mach 4 does wear pretty quickly over the first sort of 30 or 40 miles. I found it once I hit about 50 miles, it started to level off in a good way. I'm not really a big fan of this exposed midsole outsole stuff. Give me a good bit of rubber any day. I think it's not surprising that the two pairs that have specifically placed rubber sections on the outsole do perform that little bit better in terms of traction. And they've got improved flexibility as well. I think that's something that having rubber on there rather than this exposed stuff brings. It just really does improve that aspect of the shoe. On wet and dry surfaces, the Rincon 3 and the ROCKETX do a much better job than the Mach 4, and less opportunity for picking up small bits of debris, stones and rocks and grit, or the occasional acorn shell. Not a lot of crevices for debris to lurk in the Rincon 3 or the ROCKETX. There's nothing worse than getting something stuck in the outsole of your shoe and you can just hear it every single step. Drives you insane after a while. Someone might say, well, you can just stop and take it out. No one wants to do that. Nobody wants to stop. I think for me, the outsole hero here is the Rincon 3. I'm going to give it the 3 points. Just really does grip and grab the surface. I had no major issues or wear actually in the ROCKETX, so I'm going to give that 2 points. I can see a stone right now, just here, in the outsole of the Mach 4, so I'm going to give that a paltry 1 point. Value now. So value-wise now, and for the extra earth credits, I can't really recommend the Mach 4. I don't really feel it brings anything else to the table that you don't get in the Rincon 3. There's no drastic improvement in durability, longevity perhaps. I don't think it's really going to be that different. The race and training chops of the mid-weight ROCKETX really do give it a value boost. It's only marginally more expensive than the Mach 4 and a way better purchase if you ask me. If you're only banging out 6 to 7 mile sorties throughout the week, then the Rincon 3 is probably your best bet. Forgiving cushion. If that's your bag, this is your shoe. And it's the cheapest of the lot. Super nimble and the lightest of weights. It's an easy pick, this one. It's kind of like when Gareth Southgate picks the England side. You know, I'm pretty sure that if Harry Kane's available, he's in there. Although he did miss a hatful of chances the other night against Hungary. It's a bit of a horses for courses situation, this one, but I don't think that I can really recommend the Mach 4 over these two other shoes. As such, I'm going to give 2.5 points each for value to both the Rincon 3 and the ROCKETX. The Mach 4 just pales in comparison to both of these. Just doesn't feel anywhere near as natural in terms of foot strike, underfoot feel, or the upper. Final scores on screen right now. What's your experience in these three Hoka models, guys? ROCKETX really is a bit of an unsung hero when you think about the actual cost. 140 earth credits gets you a proper carbon plate shoe. It's damn good value. It's rather good value, it has to be said. Great ride as well. It's just forgiving, exciting and fun. That's what running should be. Let me know your thoughts on these three down in the comments. Musical interlude time. I did have something lined up for this, but I've just been informed of a track that I didn't know about, and I want to use that today instead. So I'm changing it up, switching it up. Just today there's a track released by Bernie Sanders and Thurston Moore. It's like a spoken word piece with acoustic guitar underneath it. I've got to be honest, it just talks a lot of sense to me. Don't want to get political here or anything, but he's just talking sense about how it's easy to go and talk to other people that agree with us on stuff, but it's really difficult sometimes to go and talk to people that don't agree with us. But that's how we promote change, isn't it? That's how we spread kind of positive ideas, by discussing things rather than just blatantly disregarding perhaps somebody else's opinion. Really interesting guitar playing here as well from Thurston Moore. It sounds like a 12-string acoustic guitar underneath. I'm just really enjoying the positive sounds underneath the positive words. So yeah, even if that's not your political stance, I'm not a political show here, I just talk about running shoes a lot. Go and check it out. I think it's a refreshing listen. Just something a little bit different for you today. Bernie Sanders and Thurston Moore, feel it in your guts. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's always appreciated. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and also click the bell below for notifications of when we roll those new videos out for you. And it really helps the channel out if you give this video a thumbs up like. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you